Agenda meeting for December 1st, 2025. We will begin this evening with the reorganizational meeting, as we normally do, the first Monday of December. We'll do our annual roll call, and then I will elect a temporary chairperson who will then be tasked with electing a president. So at this time, can I have Madam Secretary please conduct the roll call?
Patty Anderson. Karen Amagoss.
Here.
John Burke.
Here.
Diane Page.
Here.
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Leslie Baum. Robert Best. And Brady Fight.
Brady should be joining us via Zoom.
With us, Brady.
Yep, I can hear you now there, Aaron. Thank you.
Okay, now that we have Brady joining our meeting via Zoom, at this time I'll open up nominations for a temporary chairperson. We have a first and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Are there any other nominations for a temporary chairperson at this time? Hearing none, Carrie, I'll turn the meeting over to you to work our way down through the agenda at this time. I'm here for you, Karen.
I better turn on my mic. All right. So we do have a couple of new members, so I want to take a minute to welcome Wes and Bob, who's here again. Not your first time, right? So welcome to both of our new members here tonight. We have to administer the oath to our new members and those who have been reelected, which would be Brady, Bob, and Wes. Do you do that, David?
And Cliff, Sarah's ready to take that lead.
Oh, there you go. And CJ.
Okay.
Yeah, I said CJ, I'm sorry.
Do you
We'll
solemnly,
have everybody
Stand.
rise and raise their right hand.
do you solemnly swear that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and that you will discharge the duties of your office with fidelity?
I will.
Perfect.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. All right. We will need to elect a new board president for the upcoming year. Our outgoing president was Kelly Terwilliger, so we can open up the floor for nominations for board president. Okay, nomination for Brady. Do we have a second? Thank you, Bob.
Second.
Any other nominations? All right, so we have a nomination and a second for Brady for president. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Thank you, Brady. All right, that nomination moves forward. Congratulations, Brady. We look forward to having you lead our group into the new year. And I think you get
Thanks
to
a lot,
take
Bob.
over
I'm
from
looking
here,
forward to it.
right? And Brady would typically take over from here,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct, Carrie.
But I'll keep going for you, Brady.
Thank you, much appreciated.
All right. I am currently the vice president. Are there any nominations for the new vice president for the upcoming year? I accept. Any other nominations for vice president? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain. Motion carries. Sorry, writing. Treasurer, we currently have Patty Anderson is our current treasurer. Can we have a nomination for the new year for treasurer?
Second.
Nominated and seconded Patty. Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, Patty. And of course, we have Sarah, who is our board secretary, and she will continue to be so. We'll move forward into some of the appointments that we have, the different committees that we sit on, as part of this reorganization process. We had Kelly as our 2025 legislative chairperson. Do we have any volunteers for that position? Brady, is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, if nobody else wants it, I can handle that.
These aren't things that we have to vote on, correct,
We
David?
we
Or
have
we
voted
do?
on, yep, in the past.
Okay, all right. Anybody else interested in doing the legislative chairperson position? All right, can we have a nomination?
I nominate Brady Fight.
Nomination move forward and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Oh,
Did you,
sorry.
was that an opposition, Brady?
Sorry.
Too late, quorum rules. Okay. Brady will be our 2026 legislative chairperson. The 2025 IU representative was myself. I'm willing to continue doing so. I do sit as the vice president on the IU board, but if anybody else is interested in that, they can certainly speak up.
I nominate Carrie.
Okay, nominated and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
I shouldn't vote for myself. Opposed? I'll abstain. All right, I'll stay on the board with the IU. This is one that we are going to need someone to fill. The Career Center representatives, we currently have Brady and then Jeff with his term expiring. We'll have a vacancy on the Career Center board. So we'll start with Jeff's position. Do we have anybody willing to step up and be, I believe he was the alternate, correct, David?
No, he would
He was,
participate at the
okay.
meeting. There's one
Oh,
meeting
he
per,
took Jameen's, I
Yes,
think,
that's
position. Okay.
one meeting per month is the fourth Monday of each month.
Anyone interested in the Career Center? Bob?
I'll volunteer for that.
Thank you. We have nominate, or I guess we don't really have to nominate since he volunteered, right? Am I doing this incorrectly?
I nominate Bob.
Any other nominations? Anybody else? We good? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, and thank you for volunteering, Bob. Brady, I assume you would like to stay on the Career Center Board as well?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Nominate Brady.
Nominated, and that has been seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Brady. And we had Diane as the alternative. Sorry, I didn't read far enough down on my sheet. Diane, are you willing to continue doing that position as the alternate? Okay, thank you. We have a nomination.
Nominate Diane.
Nominated, and that has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? And congratulations, and thank you, Diane. The PSBA Cabinet Representative, Brady held that position. Brady, is that something you're interested in continuing with?
I mean, if somebody else wants to try it out for a year, more than welcome to. But if not, I can continue on.
Anybody? Wes, is that something you're interested in? Bob, anybody else interested in the PSBA Cabinet Representative?
Brady, what's all involved with that?
Really, there's not a whole lot unless there is, any big bills coming through. They want you to be advocating to your local representatives about that. They'll send you, monthly updates about PSBA and some new stuff they're doing. But there's really not a whole lot to do with that.
Wes is willing to try.
I'll nominate Wes.
Thank you, Wes. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, Wes. Okay, we'll move on to some of the committees that we have. Our technology committee currently consists of the individuals listed on your agenda. So board representatives would be Diane, Eric, and Kelly. So with Eric and Kelly departing, are there any volunteers for the technology? Oh, I'm sorry, and Jeff. We'll definitely need to replace some of those individuals to represent the board on the technology committee.
I can sit on it.
I can sit on it too.
Perfect. The committees, do we have that on as well?
Yes,
David?
I would,
Okay.
yep.
So John,
I nominate John.
I nominate Clifford.
let's,
Seconds.
for both of those, okay. We'll just do and Cliff. So all those in favor for adding John and Cliff to the technology committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, Brady. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, John and Cliff, welcome to the Technology Committee. Athletic Committee, we've got Cliff, myself, Brady, Diane. So no one departed the Athletic Committee for those terms that were up. Is everybody still willing to continue? Anybody want to get off,
I'm fine
join?
staying.
Hey, are
I
we
can
okay?
stay on.
Okay, we okay keeping the athletic committee the same? So can we have a motion to keep those members the same?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, athletic committee will stay the same. Finance committee, Patty, who is currently our treasurer, I believe she should remain a part of that. Brady, as our president, I believe he should be as well. But Jeff will be departing. If anyone else wants to step on to the finance committee.
We do want to add Courtney Chalmers on there because
Okay.
Aaron's no longer with us.
So we'll add Courtney. Anybody else?
I'll sit in.
Bob? Perfect. So can we get a motion to add Courtney and Bob to the finance committee?
So moved.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Staying.
Opposed? Abstention was Bob. All right, that carries. All right, consideration to approve the 2026 school board meeting dates as attached. If you see on your reorganization, there's two schedules, a Schedule A and a Schedule B. Let's just go ahead and have some discussion with keeping the voting and the workshop separate versus one night. Thoughts?
I like keeping them separate. That way, after we have our first meeting, we can go back and talk to our constituents or think about, what's going on, and then we can go from there. I feel like if we have them the same night, we really don't. Just kind of gets rubber stamped and pushed through.
Keeping the first meeting, the virtual workshop, virtual the second Monday, the regular voting meeting the third Monday. Any other thoughts on that? Brady, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's probably the best solution. I mean, it's working really well so far. Yeah, I definitely like having the option to zoom in for the first night, and then we have a week to digest and get information before we vote on it.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we request a motion for that particular schedule? It comes out the week before the workshop,
Yeah, we
correct?
generally try to send it out that Thursday before that workshop, Bob. Sometimes, depending on agenda items, it'll go out Friday, but definitely the weekend before the workshop, you'll have it with you. Yeah, same thing. There may be an item here or there that may change on there, but we'll be sure to notify the school board. We try not to change it between the workshop and the voting meeting, but, on occasion, there are items that pop up.
All right, can I get a motion to approve Schedule B, 2 meetings per month?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. Can I get a motion to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn the meeting? Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? I'm sorry. Abstentions? All right, the meeting is adjourned, and we'll move forward to our regular voting meeting. Now I feel a little more comfortable. All right, let's begin the meeting with our flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a moment of silence. Sarah, can we have a roll call?
Patty Anderson. Present. Carrie Almagoss.
Here.
John Burke.
Here.
Diane Page. Here. Clifford Adams.
Here.
Leslie Baum.
Here.
Robert Best.
Here.
And Brady Fight.
Okay. Can we get someone to make a motion to waive the reading and approve the minutes from our November voting meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That carries. Thank you. I don't believe we have any public participation this evening, and our student representative, Maddie, is not with us this evening. So we'll move forward to board concerns. Diane, can you read that, please? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
Carrie, if you don't mind, I'll jump in. Just so that we're all on the same page, we will advertise that the January voting meeting. We'll have our candidate or candidates come in. We'll develop a list of questions. We'll interview both candidates or how many ever shows up. And we will vote that evening, and it has to be a public vote as well.
Question, what happens if no one shows up? Or no one volunteers? What's the next step?
We need to get somebody in there. We have 30 days to fill the seat. So, if you know anybody who'd be interested or somebody who shows interest in the school, I'd recommend encouraging them to apply.
David,
It has to be Parker City or Hovey Township.
Yes.
They have to live in
correct.
one of those municipalities.
do they need to submit a letter of interest or?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe the advertising will tell the candidate what they need to do as
Yep.
far as their responses.
And where will we advertise that?
Probably our Facebook page, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
The Facebook page and the local news, and then on the website.
Perfect, thank you. All right, we ready to vote? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Excuse me, any opposed? Abstentions? And that carries. Will that be out tomorrow, Sarah, then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, does anyone want anything removed from the consent agenda to be voted on separately? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of those items, excuse me? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That carries. Patty, can you take care of finance and purchase for us?
Consideration to approve the contract for IXL Learning at WSTU in the amount of $4,705.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
Just keep in mind, that's a online remediation program that Dr. Jeff and some of her staff members are recommending. That is through the grant, and that's a 3-year contract.
What classes are represented in that, do you know, David?
Meg, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Meg on that? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the change order to add 30 foot onto the football field in the amount of $79,000.
Moved
I
and,
believe that stays with.
Yes, that's correct.
moved and seconded. David, do you want to?
Yeah, just keep in mind that includes 1,200 cubic yard of dirt at $45,000, import 10 tracks of loads of topsoil at $7,000, prepping for seeding at $6,000. There's also hydro seeding and straw matting of $11,000, which we may or may not put in there. That'll be up to discussion with the football field committee and ultimately the school board, but we are not going to put that in this fall. That would be in the spring of the year. And then 5 concrete 2x2 catch basins, and then 1 2x4 catch and a 55-inch drain, and that's all $10,000 to reroute the drain.
David, is that include with moving the goalpost?
Yes, that's going to be taken care of by the architect and engineer.
Okay.
At no cost to the district.
All right, good deal.
That's the plan, Diane. The hydro seed is being established right now, so the one concern that we may have, and James could jump in and address this as well, is rocks coming up through. The rock rake was not run on that before we hydro seeded it, and there will be discussion about possibly adding sod on top of that. But as it stands right now, the goal is to play on that field in the fall. James, is there anything you'd like to add to the football field discussion? He's been right there with us the entire way.
Initially, the topsoil was supposed to be screened, and they did not screen that, so that's why we have the rocks in there. As an alternate, we're proposing the sod, but in my opinion, I do feel it needs screened. We had kind of that discussion with the contractor back and forth. He stated it wasn't in there, and according to the architect, it was. And there was no scarification of the subsoil either, so the dirt they imported, they did not kind of work that up before they put the topsoil down, so I do want to just make a point that that wasn't done either. I think that'll help somewhat with the drainage that the issue we're running into right now. And they're coming back to add those catch boxes along the drain that they put in to help with the drainage. I mean, they're going to add that 30 feet onto the end of the field to get that, the safety zone that wasn't factored in. So they're gonna have to shift the field towards the other access road and then, remove the goalpost spaces that they put in and kind of adjust those also. So it's gonna be a little bit of a project getting everything, coordinated and into place. Right.
So my question is, what accountability does, do we hold the contractor to with these things that are prolonging this project, and not just prolonging it, but costing additional funds, even though that's through the bond? Are we kind of holding them to the fire, so to speak, with some of these issues?
We're working through that right now. We did contact the school solicitor about that. In addition, you'll see letter C is a payment to the contractor. That's 90% of the overall cost of that. Part of the discussion as well is, having them come back each spring and doing work on the field to make sure there are no rocks there. One of the options is possibly putting sod on top of it. Keep in mind that with this change order, it's still lower than the second lowest bid that we had with that. The football field was put back in relatively the same position it was originally, but the base was built up, and we just couldn't get enough runway towards the retaining wall. So that's why the football field committee, the architect, engineer, and contractors all recommending that we slide the football field 30 feet.
But David, my question is, are these issues, so as we look forward to letter C, where we're giving him, the contractor, 90% payment, are they going to come back and fix these issues if we pay them, so to speak? Are we going to then have to have issues where we're either begging them to come back or finding another contractor to come back and redo this again?
We don't know that. I don't know. James, do you have any insight on that piece of it?
It's definitely possible with freeze thaw.
Has
anyone-
this been discussed in the committee, like all of these issues?
Yes.
And what's the general consensus from the committee?
We're trying to work through it to figure out the best course of action. It kind of is coming down to a he said, she said sort of option. Luckily, we're only going to pay 90%, and the contractor is a well-known, it's a bigger company in the area, and they want to, keep a good relationship and not burn a bridge. So we're,
Just keep in mind, this is his first football field renovations.
yeah.
He learned a lot as well.
So,
And, speaking with the school solicitor, he said if we start to end up in court, then, there's a potential that we're not going to be playing on that field for a long time coming
Yeah.
forward. So we're trying to work with everybody involved and take care of some of the concerns that we have. One of the recommendations Amos, the architect, had was to have Howells come back and, rake the field for the next 3 years to make sure no rocks are coming through. Right now, there are no rocks, but it hasn't froze and thawed and any concern with that right now. They did go through with a rake. They had several guys out there raking the field before they put hydro seed on.
but yes, there's been constant talk about the best way to move forward with this. So it's not getting pushed under the rug. That's for sure.
Okay.
Question. I guess it's painfully obvious, to me anyway. Was that field not engineered? I mean, it was not laid out properly to start with?
That's correct.
Yeah. And the safety area and how big that field needed to be. Yes, it needs fixed. I'm not opposed to hiring a subcontractor to do this work that needs done on the end, personally. I mean, I guess my other question is, through the work that was done, was there dirt hauled out and now we're paying to get it hauled back in? Do we know?
I don't know that. I'll turn that over to James.
The contractor claims he hauled 6 loads of topsoil out, and that was one of my other questions, is why are we buying topsoil back? I didn't get an answer for that.
Was there any geotextile put underneath the dirt?
creates,
And we had Jeff Powell on that field, I don't know, different times over the last several years. That's what he specializes in, is football, baseball. Was there any consideration to reaching out to him and kind of overseeing the rest of this project?
I could reach out to him. That's not a bad idea. Jeff Fowler.
Fowler,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
this is kind of a legal question. So you're saying, is that too?
I think it is.
It's a recommendation from Amos Rudolph. He's our architect on there, and that's what was written into the contract, that we would pay 90% and hold 10% if there's areas that are not up to our standards.
What items within the contract have not yet been fulfilled? You know, paying him 90%, are there specific items that they have not completed?
Okay, the soil
Screen.
question
Yeah,
is
the
fine.
topsoil that was not screened before it was put back down, and the scarification of the sub-base. The drainage is not working properly. We did go out and dig a couple holes by hand to get through that surface. I don't know if it was from over compaction, too much soil on top of the drainage that he put in. Everyone that's driven by it's seen that it's laying with water. It's helped some. But in the contractor's eyes, he's complete, but in my opinion, it's not.
So I guess what we have on the table right now is the change order. So let's go ahead and vote on that, and then we'll move forward with the partial payment, because I think some of this is kind of bleeding together. Is everybody in agreement with that? So it has been moved and seconded.
Yeah, so the change order is to move the field 15 feet. It says 30, but it's actually 15 because there needs to be a 5-yard kind of
Safety zone.
taper around the field. So,
So in each direction.
yeah, so that's where the 30 feet comes. Now, the field on this end, which would be the north end, there's not 15 foot there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's not enough room. So the field's only getting shifted 15 feet south to gain that 15 foot there. But in turn, is gonna give us, we need 30 foot of fill on the other side, because the 15 we moved plus the 15 on the other side equals the 30 feet. So it doesn't matter who the contractor was.
That
That's,
still has to happen.
that still has to happen. And then along with that, you know,
The goal
because
post
that,
base.
the goals and the base is in the wrong spot, which the architect is who was, so the architect is gonna pay for getting those moved and repouring those and removing the concrete. So they're covering that bill,
Why aren't they covering the rest of it?
because either way, it needed done.
I agree, it does need done now.
It needed done before. It doesn't matter, 'cause it doesn't matter who the contractor was, it still needed done. So it wasn't priced into it. It wasn't like it was a miss on the architect. It was, but it doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter if I bid it or whoever bid it. It never was added into it. So,
Right, wasn't included.
yes, now it is, and
And the screening the topsoil, was that or was that not included in the,
It was in the contract.
yeah.
was in the contract?
But what we're talking about right
So I
now.
think that bleeds into
understand
the
that.
next letter.
Yeah, so let's finish this.
Any other discussion on the change order itself before we move on to the next item and finish this discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. So, go ahead, Patty with letter C.
Consideration to approve the partial payment by bond to Tile Excavating in the amount of $111,290 and 50 cents. Bond. So moved.
All right, moved and seconded. So now we can continue the discussion with the partial payment.
So David, was there any down payment put yet?
No, we haven't paid anything yet.
I mean, generally, there's 30% to start. So the fact that they've done $111,000, 200, out of pocket to even get started, I kind of understand what he's saying. He has all this money sitting out there. and hasn't gotten paid for it. Yeah, there's still around $13,000 left to be paid, which seems like a lot of money to me. I mean, it's still only 10%, but
My feeling is, and this is just my opinion, we determine what percentage of the contracted work he has done. And if it's 50% or 60%, we pay him that amount. And then he can get the rest when the contractual obligations have been satisfied. But
I would agree with that.
I
my
agree with Carrie.
thoughts. James, do you have an estimate, like, on the percentage of work that he has actually done according to the contract versus what still remains to do contractually?
I don't have all the numbers. I know the electrical was around 30,000 and the goalposts were 20 to 25,000. The electrical was subbed out. That has been done. No issues with that. So I feel like that definitely needs paid. He did purchase the goalposts. He currently has those at his shop. He did put the drain in, but there was a change order for that of roughly $17,000. The
Did we
fill
vote
dirt
on that
was-
last month? That change order was last month?
yeah.
I think
Okay.
so, yeah. And then the fill dirt is obviously in there. He did most of the work to spec, but again, the screening and the scarification was not done. And that's two big things in my eyes.
And David, what has Zach said as far as, from a legal standpoint, you know, where do we sit with that contract?
He didn't go into great detail as far as if, you know, we brought in the legal advice from that perspective, we'd end up in court. And, you know, he made a recommendation that we try to resolve this with the committee, the architect, and the engineer so that we don't postpone the completion of that project.
Has it been the committee's recommendation to issue a 90% payment on this?
We spoke about it, but we have not met in person to go over this.
Yeah, we didn't agree on really a percentage or anything.
When does the committee meet again?
We've been meeting as needed.
I guess Carrie, I mean, he's done the majority of the work, but a lot of the work wasn't done properly. I shouldn't say a lot.
The last,
The topsoil wasn't
Yeah.
screened, there's a drainage problem that I'm guessing we're gonna have to pay for to fix that, whatever it is. And if we end up having to put sod on that field, I have
Can-
no idea what that estimate's gonna be.
So I'm just throwing another option out there. If we issue the 90% payment to him, is there something that Zach can draw up for us that kind of ties him into that other 10%, you know, as far as what needs to be completed in order for us to, you know, pay him at 100%? Or, I mean, I feel like we have to have some type of legal backing, you know, to withhold money, but yet still hold him accountable for the work that still needs done. And that's just my 2 cents, like I said.
Was this project bonded, David?
yes. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not sure 100% on how all that works, but I guarantee, you know, that money is kind of all tied together with future work, so if he wants to ever do any big future work.
Has he shown good faith in continuing to fix it properly, James?
Not, I mean, I haven't really talked to him for a month now after he did the hydro seeding. David, did you talk to him past couple weeks?
I talked to him on the phone one time as far as getting the change order put together. We didn't necessarily go into great detail. When we met as a committee before, we had talked about, you know, the rocks and the concern associated with that. And, you know, it didn't seem as if he was interested in, and I'm not sure if the committee was either, in tearing the field completely up again, since we do have the seeds down, it's established, and, you know, redoing the hydro seed.
That's kind of where we talked about the sod, though. We got rough numbers, like 40 to 60,000, roughly for the sod. It will obviously take faster and hopefully bond for the fall season to be played. Again, I just still think the soil needs to be screened. The subbase needs to be scarified. add the 30 feet, and then sod everything at once. That way it's a uniform field. It was hydro seeded. There was a change order for that. Did take significant time for that seed to germinate because you kind of missed the window for seeding. Yes, it's green now. It'll kind of stabilize over the winter. Hopefully we won't lose any more soil. But I just feel like it's going to be tricky to add that 30 feet on and get the field uniform again.
As far as the 30-foot extension onto it, yeah, it needs the base put back in there. Yeah, I don't have that answer, Diane, I don't know.
James, when you say you feel that it needs to be filtered or screened,
Yeah.
are you talking about the addition, or are you talking about the existing?
The
all-
existing surface.
Everything that's there now?
Yes,
Which would essentially require ripping up what's already down?
yes.
The top what?
It's supposed to be
Six-
8 to 10 inches of topsoil.
And just so that I'm keeping my thoughts straight, he has not agreed to do that.
No,
He
That is
actually-
something that either we would have to pay someone else to come in and redo, or he would have to agree to come back and do that, which I'm assuming is associated with another charge.
I would imagine, yeah. He did bring in like an article that just basically stated that it's okay to have rocks in the surface through like a Penn State thing. I mean, I don't know. He come up with it. I don't think there's real specifications in the screening though was the issue, down to a certain size. I think that was kind of left out, so he just felt that. it didn't
Anywhere
need that.
acceptable?
But we have pictures, there's significant rocks, baseball to basketball, that have come out of it. They did hand rake the surface, but they rolled the rest. I mean, there's definitely rocks in there.
I mean, that was the whole point of this project when it started, to
Yep.
do away with the rocks.
Well, it wasn't the rocks.
Well, the grading was bad and there was low place. I understand that, but, yeah.
I'm just,
Carrie, one recommendation we could have right now is table that motion and revisit in January. We can meet as a committee, we can get the solicitor's recommendation moving forward and, go from there.
I think we should at least pay something, whether it's, we come up with a percentage right now, because, like I said, $111,000 out of pocket is a lot for a company. I'm not trying to stand against, I'm just,
agree.
I understand that, and we need to come up with a number to at least pay a certain percentage.
David and Courtney, do you have a rough estimate as far as, like James mentioned, a subcontractor has come in and done their part, they have not yet been, we haven't paid for that. The electrical, there are certain things that have been completed. Do you have a rough estimate?
Is that electrical work included in with that 111,000?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, in my opinion of seeing it, it's the last 25% of the job was never finished correctly.
Yeah.
My question goes back to the original contract. Does it say specifically 10% in that original contract?
Yes, a substantial completion of the job.
So I think we need guidance on that, because I don't think you can change that.
I'm assuming that's where Zach's coming in,
I
saying
agree.
if we violate that 90% that we have in the contract, that we could potentially be in a litigation situation.
Well, it was more so a discussion with the architect about the contract and paying the 90%. Zach, he didn't go into details as far as the 10% of what we pay. We just talked about that last portion of the job. If he's not willing to come back and redoing the surface in good faith, where do we go from there?
So is the contractor, or, excuse me, is the architect on the hook for assuring this work was done according to their specifications? Who's getting paid to say that this is done correctly? We're not the general contractor here.
No, it would be Hiles Construction who basically took on the job as a general contractor. It's them.
I assume that's the case because we hired them. It didn't go through Amos,
Yes.
even though Amos is kind of like project manager.
He's kind of the
Yeah,
overseer.
it's like Burns
He should have
for
oversaw the
the
project.
auditoriums. I think that could be an argument, Diane, because it is substantial completion. And there are concerns that James brought up.
And the grass is supposed to be a mowable height also. I mean, I know we're late in the year, but just keep that in mind that that's also in the contract that I don't know, it's like 4 inches high.
Yeah.
To be established. Again, it's only gonna grow so much at this time of the year, but keep that in mind that it's not a final product.
And it goes back to the fact that we're not going to pay them. It's just, what do we want to pay them the first round of?
Have we seen, in the contract, I'm assuming based on our discussion, there are not specifications for things like the screening. I mean, have we seen documentation from Rudolph that says,
Oh, we have the contract, we run it.
so it does have that in there?
Yes.
So he has violated the contract?
Yes, he has.
I'm not sure if he fulfilled it completely to get this 90% payment, if we want to make that argument that we're not going to pay the 90% at this time.
Can we ask James to create a list? I think you've already got it. A list of what is not on par with the specifications thus far. Have a conversation with our attorney. Take a look at a value of what that list is and make a comparison.
And I'm willing to, at least make some type of payment towards what's been completed now. I'm not saying we should withhold all payment. Once again, that's just
I agree with you, Carrie.
my,
60% or somewhere in that ballpark.
that's kind of my thought.
So 90% is just an arbitrary number that the architect come up with.
No,
It's in the
written
contract.
In the contract.
It is written in the contract.
And that was the,
If he's already in violation of the contract or hasn't
Right.
fulfilled his duties within the contract, that's where my problem is. Especially if this is gonna cost us more money, or we're gonna have to go through a bidding process and hire another contractor to fix it correctly. I don't know.
Right now, roughly, if we pay 75%, that's a little over $90,000.
And I would think 25% is enough to make them come back and want to get the rest.
That's close
I
to,
don't think 10% is enough to make them really.
yeah, it's still, that's like 30-some thousand dollars left on the table. I mean, something
Yeah,
needs paid.
But if he comes back to fix everything, what's that gonna cost him now?
Cost them? If he's gonna fix it on his own dime because it wasn't done correctly, then that's his own dime. Obviously, we're gonna withhold $30,000 with payment, but I'm no lawyer. The contract says 90% at significant, however it was worded, Yes, it was done correctly, that's kind of where that last 10% does come in. You hold that last 10% generally in a contract to go over specific issues along the way. You hold it at the end. But
So the other possibility is have a conversation with the guy and point it out and say, look, this is where we're at. This is what we're willing to offer at the moment. How do we guarantee that you're gonna come back in spring and do that? See if you can come up with an agreement.
I mean, we
I
have
would-
had conversations with him. He's been on site, the last time we had our committee meeting. He really didn't want to screen anything.
He wasn't
or-
concerned about it?
Yeah.
I mean, have we addressed the fact that it is spelled out in the contract? I mean, if that's the case? And he's arguing that it's not spelled out in the
Yeah,
contract.
Because originally he just claimed it wasn't in there, and then I think he did admit that it was in there, then he came back with that letter saying that some rocks in there are okay. And then after that, I think he maybe agreed to coming back over the next couple years, but we all know how that's gonna go.
I don't know, we have a motion on the table. I don't know if we want to amend that motion.
It should be amended to something different than 90%.
I feel it should be 75%. 75% is still a lot of money to holding on the table, and I can just understand, because a contractor, I can understand being on the other side of, having a lot of money out there, at least cover paying for your guys and most of your stuff. Like I said, 75% is still withholding over $30,000 on a $125,000 project.
Do we?
Still a substantial amount of money.
If we had to get another contractor to come in and rip that up and screen that, what kind of cost are we looking at for that?
I have no-
I mean, it has to be substantial,
Oh, I mean,
because then everything has to be put back together. Like, you're undoing everything that's already
yeah, I
been
mean,
done.
like I said, things went great, but it's the last 10% wasn't really finished properly to kind of something in there.
But does that 10% then turn into 40%? Because
Well, if
of-
we haven't paid it yet, it doesn't really matter. They, in my opinion, from what I've seen and been on it and read through it, I feel he's done 75% of it. It's that last 25%
So-
that isn't done,
So explain the 25% you're talking about, the
Is-
screening.
is the finishing of the field. It's all, drainage issues are gonna be, the hydro seeding, and then also with the topsoil issues, that's kind of that last big issue. All the grading work and all the actual moving of the material and whatnot is the bulk of the project. That last little bit, that last 25%.
James, what's your take on that? I mean,
I'll agree that he's done 75% of the work. The drain was definitely on him. He come up with that. I don't think it was necessarily put in properly. That's some of our issues with, like, the ponding water per se on the field. There's still low spots, and again, rocks. We were able to kind of get some holes through that soil and get it to drain. I didn't look at it today, but just after any rain event, there'd be water laying in that ditch line at the base of the bank. And again, that's where our team's gonna be standing. There's 4 to 6 inches of water there. And I've sent him pictures of that, and he's like, did it dissipate over time? It's like, yes, but it's still not draining properly. It all comes down to, I think the field was underbid significantly, and now that, looking back, he kind of has an understanding of what was right and wrong. The engineer and architect didn't lay the field out properly to have it in that space that it was put in. So we have to shift it, add on to it, move the goalposts. I feel like Jace is definitely able to do all this. He definitely needs paid for most of the work he did, and I'd rather work with him and get it complete than have to start the whole process over again.
I'm going to say that I'm a little disappointed in Amos, because when we talked about the difference in bid with the football field numbers that came in, we kind of addressed some concerns about this being so low. And maybe I misunderstood him saying, we will make sure that, all the boxes are checked, this is his first one. Didn't he kind of give us some reassurance? Or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I'm asking. But,
No, you're correct.
because I was a little leery, but after hearing him, I kind of felt a little more comfortable thinking that, they were gonna kind of oversee this a little bit better. And maybe I'm missing the mark with Amos being held accountable for part of this and ensuring that it was done the right way, but I'm just disappointed that we're in this position.
David, you said Amos is gonna pay to relocate the field goal,
Yeah,
the posts
yeah,
or whatever?
he's got a construction crew that'll come in and take care of that part of it.
I feel that. I feel that the substantial amount of work was putting the field in place and moving it. That last 25% goes with the topsoil, and, that's generally your finished work. They always say, the first 90% goes fast, that last 10% takes 90% of the time. It's kind of a saying with construction, so.
And this contractor is doing the change order, so he's going to get a $79,000 also, correct?
top.
Yes, that's correct.
So there's,
Keep in mind, he did the field for 120. There was the 17,000 change order for the drain, and I believe it was 18,000 for the hydro seeding.
And that was issued to him already?
No. No, that's this right here, what we're
No,
talking
we
about.
haven't paid them at all yet.
Okay, I thought we approved something.
We approved
We
the
approved the
change
change order,
order.
but we
Yeah, that's
haven't
correct.
released the payment.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
CJ, what was the number you came up with at 75%?
75% was like $93,000.
Well, can we say 75%, just so that we,
Can move on.
well, I'm just saying, we don't know exact figures.
Yeah,
So,
they roughly-
for sake
Right.
of,
Yeah. I just think.
But I think we should have a number down that we approve.
if 90% is 111,290.50,
Yeah.
that's not 100%.
No, so
What
70
number are we actually using, though, for the total cost? Is it the original bid plus the change orders, or just the original bid number?
The 111 would be 90% roughly of the 121 from the original bid.
121, do you have the exact figures, David?
I don't have that number with me.
it's really close to 123,655.
Yeah.
It's close to there. I don't have exact numbers, but
Yeah.
I'm fine then, if we have to have a number.
not
I'm coming up with
$90,000.
$92,742.09.
What do you got, John?
$92,742.0833.
What I got?
So,
Say that again so I can write it down.
92,742.09.
So do we want to amend that motion then, Patty?
I'll amend the motion to approve partial payment by the bond to Heil Excavating in the amount of $92,742.09. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion before we take a vote? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I would just say that it seems to me like he should move the field and then go ahead and do all the topsoil, all the surface, all the screening of the soil. But we need someone to really supervise that or observe what's going on so it gets done right.
I
Jeff
definitely
Fowler.
think the committee should meet again and possibly involve Zach in that discussion as well. But that's just a recommendation.
Got it.
I think we need somebody to oversee this project, other than the architect, and
Well,
the contractor. I mean,
your general contractor is generally who oversees it. You know, that's who works hand in hand with the school. You know, they're like you being the homeowner, having someone come in. The general contractor is who the homeowner communicates with. This is what I want done. I mean, we did have someone to oversee it. The general did it themselves. Standard. So it's not like we didn't have anyone, you know, not doing that.
They just do it. Okay. All right. Want to move on, Patty?
Item D, consideration to approve the pay application number 1 by the bond from Burns for the auditorium in the amount of $40,369.06 paid by the bond. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just part of the overall payment for Burns contractor. No issue with it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item E, consideration to approve the pay application number 2 by the bond from Burns for the auditorium in the amount of $79,467.88 paid by the bond. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No discussion, just same, different
how's
payment.
that project going?
That's going good, you know, it's an auditorium that was built in 1965, so we're finding some imperfections in there, but overall Burns is doing a good job. We do have the electricians in there, we're working on the roof, and James, is there anything you'd like to add?
Just so far, the seats have all been removed. The asbestos abatement and mastic has been removed, so I feel like at least one of those payments will cover the asbestos abatement. The other one will be partial of the chair removal, the curtains, the theatrical lighting, that has all been removed. The electrical contractors are starting to wire up the podcast room and the controls room. There was some concerns about grounding for the sconce lights, which are also the emergency lights in there. They're looking into possibly rewiring that and some receptacles that didn't have a ground, so kind of waiting on a change order on that. As far as that, I mean, they got the doors, the 2 roll-up door openings are cut through the block wall for the lighting controls room and the podcast room. Burns guys were in a little bit last week, and then Wright Electric guys have been in last week, and then they'll be in this week. And then as far as the roof, kind of a separate topic, still the auditorium. They have been working on that a day or two per week. We don't have the best weather for that, and it has to be a certain temperature for the adhesive that they're using. So they did get some of the base layer, or the top layer, on roughly 50% of the roof. So, you know, moving forward with the cold weather, I don't know if they'll get really back onto that here in the next few weeks, but I'll advise them once they do.
Okay. Thank you, James. Any other discussion before we vote? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Before we move on, Sarah and David, just a question. Do we have any other, like, pay the bills? Usually under finance and purchase, we have the bills, the accounts, the cafeteria report.
Not at this time.
Okay, making sure. I didn't want to skip anything. Okay, thank you. Stacy, do you have a report to give?
I don't. I haven't
Okay.
received any bills or invoicing. yet,
Okay.
so I don't have any.
Okay, thanks. Bob, do you want to take care of personnel for us?
A, consideration to retroactively approve the request from Jackie Maley pending all appropriate documentation to be the elementary girls basketball coach at a supplement salary of $439. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
B, consideration to approve hiring Colin Caltron upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as full-time maintenance technician at a prorated salary of $42,500 for the remainder of the 25-26 school year. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, we had several applicants. We utilized a rubric. We evaluated the documentation they submitted. We scheduled 3 interviews. 2 people showed up, and this is the recommendation from the committee that had interviewed. We had 2 really good candidates.
Good. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And C, consideration to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the district and the Allegheny Clarion Valley Education Association for a period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2030, which was approved by the association on November 14th. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
Were you going to call an executive session on that, David, or not?
We can if you'd like, or Carrie.
Did you request an executive session on that?
Just ask about it. Wes and I aren't familiar with we have the contract, but aren't familiar with the discussion or what the process was or how things went or whatever.
Do you want to break for an executive session, or would you like to break for an executive session now to discuss that before we vote?
Yes, I would.
Okay, we
Short
will
and
break
sweet.
for a short executive session to discuss the bargaining agreement with the new members before voting. Thank you. We appreciate everybody's patience. We are done. We do have a motion and the second to approve the collective bargaining agreement. Any other discussion? I think we're good. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstentions? Bob? Anybody else abstaining? Okay, motion carries. Thank you for that, Bob.
Yep.
John, can you walk us through instructional services, please?
Absolutely. Can we have the elementary report, please?
Sure. Not a lot to report since we only had 7 school days since the last meeting. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was our upcoming annual elementary Christmas program. Due to the renovations on the high school auditorium, that obviously has to look different this year. So we did meet at least twice to talk about how we were going to handle having our Christmas concert. And I just wanted to share with you and publicly what we have put out to the parents already, so families are aware. We are going to do our concert on December 12th, as it was scheduled on the calendar. We will have a morning concert beginning at 9:30. That will be for kindergarten through 3rd grade. In those grades, we have 158 students. So we are issuing 2 tickets per family and hoping we can fit 316 people in this space. It'll be a little less than that because if we're doing per family, there's not quite 158 because that's how many children we have. But we are going to use every inch that we can here in the cafeteria to make sure that we can get everybody in. And then I was talking with a parent who had a suggestion about using the gym for overflow, and I talked with Aaron Heil, and we are going to put the live stream in the gym without sound, so we can have the gym doors open, and anybody who's sitting in the gym would not need a ticket. Seats out here will be ticket only, but we had a few families who wanted to bring like an additional person, so that will be available for that, just so that they're here in person for their kiddos. Infants and toddlers on laps are also fine. We've had a couple questions about that. If they're not taking up a seat, then that's okay. They can attend with their family. The second show will be at 1 o'clock, and that is 4th through 6th grade, plus our choir and band. So that will be in the afternoon. If families have students in kindergarten through 3rd and 4th through 6th, they will get tickets to each concert and can come to both. Both will be live streamed on the school website, which you can watch live, or you can also watch it anytime after the streaming happens. So that will be found on our website. And that is really all I have for this week. Just wanted to update everybody about the concert.
Mr. Chairman, can you also, since Dr. Jordan's not here, talk about the evening high school concert? Located in the same area?
Yeah, the date I think is the 18th
Yes.
for theirs. Is that correct? Okay, that was the only thing I'm not sure about. They are also going to have their concert down here, December 18th. That's the high school, junior high, and senior high band and choir concert. And I believe it starts at 7 p.m. And they are not having tickets. They felt that their attendance is much lower than what we get for the elementary concert, and that they will be able to fit everybody here in the cafeteria. So all concerts will be here at the elementary. And it's not ideal, we're aware of that, but it's for a greater cause down the road that we will have a beautiful auditorium to host these things in going forward. So 1 year of inconvenience gets us to the prize. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sherman. Dr. Jordan's not here. Is
Yeah,
there
he's not here this evening.
Okay. Athletic report?
Okay, I'll try to be quick. Winter sports officially begin tomorrow night. Varsity boys host Keystone here for our first game. Varsity girls basketball will be at the Forest Tip-Off Tournament on the 12th, or the 5th, I'm sorry, of December. Our boys are also competing in that tournament as well. Competitive cheer will be at Du Bois on Saturday, this Saturday the 6th. We're preparing for junior high basketball, boys basketball, working through the physical packets and getting recertifications ready. And the final thing that I have is this year we're trying something a little bit different with the handbooks. We put them online. I had the help of Aaron and Emily Shoemaker, Aaron Heil, And we put the handbooks on the school website, on the athletics page, with a Google form for parents to go in and check off that they've familiarized themselves, and the athlete can check off on the handbooks, so that we're eliminating the need to copy them and pass them out to the athletes and then get the sign-off sheet back from them. So we're hoping that this will streamline that process a little bit. And maybe, Carrie, I know you've probably done that recently. You can maybe speak how.
Wrong answer.
Not you? Okay. So, someone
I'm a
check the
slacker.
box with Carrie's name in it. Anyway, if you want to look at the handbook, it's on the school website. So, yeah, so we're hoping that that'll streamline the process a little bit and make that easier for parents and athletes and everybody involved. So, but that's my report.
Thank you. Westview report?
Good evening. Welcome to our new board members. I just have some handouts. You'll see this one at your seat, and the new board members will see this one. It's just a little bit more detailed packet for you. I thought you might want to read up a little bit about Westview, learn a few things. There's a two-sided handout for everyone else. Just a few things I want to point out regarding Westview. Updated this, our vocation program. A couple things that we've been doing lately. We added 2 additional tracks. Right now, we have 4 tracks going in our vocational program, 2 graphic design, 1 simulator track, and we're recently adding a careers track where we're working on online career portfolios through Smart Futures, the career exploration class, and we are also going to get into driver's ed. Students can't test, but we're going to prepare them, teach them the book, have them test on the book, and then from there they can go to the simulator side and actually drive the car. So they can't actually get their driver's license, but they'll be very well prepared for when they leave Westview. If they go home, they could, apply for their license. So also, there's a workforce program that we started just a few months ago. I think I mentioned it briefly in the past. All students at Westview can get as long as they're a U.S. citizen, can get a work permit through my secretary. We work with Rite of Passage, and they basically have 2 different workforce programs. One's through Rite of Passage, which is kind of like the beginner program, and then the other side is CareerLink. So CareerLink pays students $15 an hour up to 300 hours if they meet the criteria, and then they can work in the building, mopping, doing different things with supervision, and they could submit those hours, and then they will get that money that ROP keeps track of, and they use that money toward their restitution. And anything that's left, they can put that in an account, and then they could take that home, or when they exit, if they go to step down or independent living or whatever. So definitely something positive for them, and obviously they're eager to pay off any restitution. That's it. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Could we have the federal report now?
Sure.
Program.
Welcome, everybody. It's nice to see you, Bob. Nice to see you, Wes. Welcome aboard. Not much to report. Not much has changed in federal programs since last month, but just to kind of keep you all abreast, the grants that we have with allocations are our Title I and Title II, which funds our Title I teachers. We also have a Title I-D grant, which helps fund WSTU. We have our Title IV grant, which helps fund, we use that allocation for our AmeriCorps workers that we are in conjunction with the AmeriCorps workers at the high school come down here for service hours. So we pay them for that. And we also have our PCCD grant, which funds our SP, along with some other safety, our mental health specialist, and our SPO, and anything affiliated with those. And lastly, and probably our biggest grant, was awarded last year. It's our PA Smart Innovation Grant, and that's helping with the auditorium renovation to offset some of the costs and bring some technology into that space as well. And that's all I have. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Could we have the district report, please?
Thanks, John. I just got a couple updates coming out of Harrisburg. First off, the Shapiro administration and the Pennsylvania Department of Education are enhancing their ability to combat the teacher shortage through a variety of different programs. They're working on how to get people certified, how they can move people with credentials from different states into Pennsylvania more efficiently, permits for substitute teachers, and returning educators who have moved out of the field. There's a lot of work going on with PDE and the Shapiro administration to continue to help combat that issue. The state budget, they're also working on adding 11.9 million to cut down on college costs for new teachers, and then the $10 million stipend for student teacher programs still in the budget as well. Education funding, there is a 1.3% increase in basic education with the most latest budget that was approved, 2.7% increase in special education, 14.6% estimated savings in cyber transition reform, and I'll talk on that a little bit more later on. $25 million set aside for solar in schools, which I'll continue to keep my eye on, and then $100 million for school safety and mental health. Just keep in mind that there are several schools that get a significant amount of money through adequacy funding. AC Valley is not one of them, but we are getting an additional $50,000 through the Right to Learn block grant. There are 117 schools like AC Valley that don't qualify for that adequacy money, but we are getting a little bit more than what we had budgeted. Most schools will get $100,000 for school safety. Last year, we had 117 roughly come in. The cyber school reform, Courtney and I are still trying to unpack that, but there's a form, it's PDE 363, that will be modified, and we'll start working on that whenever it's released. They are going to cut down on the additional expenditures that we have compared to cyber schools. For example, we'll only be able to target 60% of our student activities cost. Part of that formula will be 60% of our maintenance cost and operating cost. And then they'll remove the cyber students from our average daily membership. So it's all going to modify the overall cost for our outside cyber school for gen ed students. And then there's a dual calculation for special education kids. So keep in mind that last year we spent about $20,000 per gen ed student and $43,000 for a special ed kid. We do anticipate that it's going to be significantly reduced. For example, non-special education tuition, one of the formulas multiply that 20,000 by 1.89%, or the other calculation. With that being said, that 1.89% would be just under $37,000. So we're going to be seeing significant savings in special ed. Not sure how many special ed students we have out there, but there is cyber reform on its way. Once we get that formula, I'll be sure to share out the new cost once we have them. Another piece of that budget, there's also legislation and school codes that get added to it. The one item, Senate Bill 315, is admission fees and cash requirements. We are required, and we do so here at AC Valley, to accept cash. A lot of schools are trying to go to digital currency or whatever, credit card, but there is a requirement that we accept cash. To talk a little bit more about the cyber school reform that comes on, residency, and that's something we do internally with our attendance officer, is we try to get out there and ensure that students are still in our district that are applying to schools and us paying the cost. Well, they're going to spin that around and put the requirement back on to the cyber school to ensure that they are students of that particular district. They got to check by November 1st and by March 1st, and then those cyber schools are given 10 days to withdraw that student from their rules. In addition, wellness checks, there is a requirement that they put eyes on their kids at least once per week. And they've changed up the truancy attendance policies as well. So the teachers have to see the student online synchronously, and they have to have the student complete work to give them credit. And if not, then they will become truant. And part of the issue we've seen in the past is some schools will jump from one cyber school to the next. While that's no longer permissible, if there is a student that's truant, then they most likely will go back to the brick and mortar schools. And then finally, just a couple other school code changes, teacher certification, and this is a big one for administrators across the state, is they're going back to the grades 1 through 6, or ages 3 to 11 with their certification. Right now we have a bunch of new elementary teachers that are only certified in K through 4th grade. So that's going to help with scheduling and moving people around. And then secondary, again, it'll be 7 through 12 for 11 years old to 21 years old. And then the special subject area is going to be K through 12. So we have more latitude as far as putting people where they need to be to meet our students' needs. And then there's been some enhancements for school safety. So the school safety coordinator has to be meeting with the building administrators as they develop policies and procedures. Small school district like AC Valley, they're a lot of times wearing the same hat, but this is for bigger schools. And there's also a report in addition to the end of year Act 44 report where the school safety administrator will share that information out to the school board. And then finally at your seat, you'll see a couple diagrams. One's the original AC Valley Falcon that we had board approved. I believe it was back in 2008. We don't have a digital copy. We have this old Word document. And I'm sharing that with you because we've been running into some problems with some of our renovations and utilizing the Falcon. And our graphic designer through the PA Smart Grant and Benchland created some digital Falcons, and that's on page 2 that's in front of you. And what I'd like to do is share that with you this evening, but also work with the administrative team to have our students vote on it to see if there's any interest in changing the Falcon. And with that being said, we could use it for different logos. For example, our hurdles for the track, we can't get the Falcon printed on there. It just doesn't digitize correctly. And then some of the interior design at the auditorium, same thing. They can't replicate the Falcon. So those are just some different ideas and suggestions that I wanted to share with you this evening.
There's nothing similar to this, David? I mean, it's been our logo for probably ever for those
Pretty much
ACV
forever,
graduates. I mean, is there anything,
No, they can't get it closer. They just came up with these other designs. So I wasn't sure if that was something we wanted to consider, Carrie. I agree with you. I mean, that was something we did formalize that because it's always been our logo. And those are just some different ideas. I mean, ultimately, we did have the school board approve that logo years ago. So if we want to stick with it and try to work around it, we could do that as well. Or
I was just hoping there was a way to update it so that, we're not losing that traditional Falcon. But I mean, that's,
I'd agree with you. I asked them.
just hurts my heart a little bit, David, that's all.
I asked them to, and this is what they gave me, Carrie. I mean, I could revisit that discussion with them to see if they can get more of the Falcon tied into that logo.
I don't know. That was just, they can't come up with a new version of this
Graphic
one.
design.
Yeah. There we go, yeah.
I'm just not sure if they can digitize a piece of artwork into,
Well, maybe not, I mean, can't they create something different that looks similar, but it's updated digitally? Does that make sense?
I'll keep working on it.
If we give a 7th grader AI, they can figure it out, so.
Is something they could do at West too?
Some graphic design work.
All right, we'll revisit it and get back in touch with the school board with that one. And John, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Dr. McDevitt. Consideration to approve the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District budget timeline for the 2026-2027 school year as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that?
Just keep in mind, this is a yearly timeline that we do submit with our local audit. It also gives us internal controls to ensure that our budget is approved by the school board and submitted before June 30th. Keep in mind that they say the next year's budget in Harrisburg is going to be as difficult, if not more so, than the 25-26 budget. So get ready for another challenging budget year.
Consideration to approve the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District 2025-2026 school district organizational
Oh, wait,
chart is attached.
we got to vote. Sorry.
So moved.
We got to vote on the first one. All right, going back to A.
sorry.
Any other discussion or questions for David? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, John.
I'm not going to read B again. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
This is just the organizational chart. I went through it. I had Courtney and Sarah double check me. We've made several changes to it, but especially for the new school board members, please take a deep dive into this because it's very strategic as far as how we staff the educational components. And if there's any questions or concerns that you may have, I'm only a phone call away.
And that attachment should have been in your board docs, right?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
All right, school police report. All right, thank you, Officer Sittler. Special education report.
Yeah, I have no new information tonight. I did spend some time for my fellowship, which is for the new directors of special education through the Bureau of Special Education, and just continuing to grow in that capacity and very generous of the opportunity.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Cliff, would you like to take us down through policy, please?
Sure, we'll do it short and sweet. Consideration to approve the first reading for policy 105.2, 122, 122.1, 626, and 913. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of those? Those are all first readings, so. Okay.
Yes, just a real quick
Yep, go
update.
ahead,
I
Dave.
won't keep us here too long. We're part of the PSBA policy network, and they provide us with updates from time to time. So these are all pieces of legislation that's changed, and they make the recommendation for us as a school district to modify our policy or add new policy. With that being said, we do have some internal controls. Check your board docs. There are some fluctuations as far as how we roll out some of these policies, but exemption of instruction, we just have to notify our parents and support them if they do want to pull their child from any kind of instruction that may go against their religious or moral beliefs. And then just one area I'd like to point out is exemption from dissection activities. So that's something that I'll be working with the biology teachers and the high school principal to notify the parents as far as when we choose to do those activities. Non-school sponsored sport, student groups, that speaks for itself. That is a new policy. Extracurricular activities, there is just some minor language change, and then it also ties into the students' academic and discipline-related issues that may or may not permit them to participate in that activity. And then policy 626, that's our yearly financial update. That thing's been updated by PSBA. There are several attachments associated with that that goes hand in hand with how we spend our money here within the district. And then finally, policy 913, that's non-school organization groups and individuals that is basically our boosters. And Mr. Sherman had created some guidelines for different tournaments, and that was just an addendum that we had added to this policy because there's a lot of booster parents that are new from year to year, and this is just our general procedures. So if there's any questions, once we get through reading number 1 and goes into reading number 2, feel free to contact me.
Thank you, David. Any discussion or question for David on those policy changes? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries. Wes? Well, we'll wait for you, Wes. James, can you give us facilities? I realized there was only one item there, so we'll wait.
I just have a handful of things. Just want to touch base on the electrical contractors are up and running. They did remove the lights from above the stage, demoed some other existing equipment that's supposed to be taken out. Kind of getting a game plan on getting some new wire run, conduits and whatnot. Roof repairs are continuing. Again, I don't know when that's going to be complete, just based on the weather and the temperatures that are kind of hindering the use of the adhesive. Was there any other questions on I know we went over the football field stuff, but again, I've worked with the architect and the engineer closely. I've gave my input on the different situations we've brought up, and they assured that everything was going to be fine in the end, and here we are in the end, and it's not. So, on a positive note, I did get a phone call today from the engineering firm that's going to be putting the new water company in Foxburg. So they're projecting sometime between March and April to start that work. They will be putting a new water treatment plant in, and that is kind of below the high school parking lot, just above us here. I did stress about the water lines that run to the buildings to try to get those to loop and just try to cut down on any dirty water, not really contamination, but just dirty water that we kind of get from the pipes whenever we lose pressure or just day-to-day operations. He's definitely going to stop within the next 2 to 3 weeks, take a look at the site. I did bring up about the irrigation for the football field in the future, and he suggested running a line up to the field so we can have like an actual water hookup there, down in the ground with a shut off, you know, it'd be frost-free and everything. So we'll look into that also. Just thought that was a really good positive thing to finally come to Foxburg. I knew there was some grant money out there that they were awarded at some time in the last year or so. So just to hear some positive news on getting that established is a good thing.
Could
Any
they put water lines up to the concession stand? I know, that's a little more in-depth. I get it.
It is.
Baby steps.
My concession days are over, but I know that was always a point of contention, you back and forth in and out of the school,
I don't
to
think it
use
was
water.
ever designed to have water or have a kitchen or anything, so it's tough.
Be nice just to have water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just poking a little bit, you know. What? Dude on the roof. Yeah. It doesn't look like we have any transportation items tonight, so now, Wes, could you take us through miscellaneous items?
A, Career Center report.
Brady's not on, and Jeff, I don't think he attended this past month, so nothing to report.
Intermediate unit report.
We did not meet in November due to the Thanksgiving holiday week. So our December meeting will be next Wednesday, December 10th.
Correspondence.
No correspondence, Wesley.
Technology Committee update. This is going quick. Athletic Committee update. Financial Committee update. Football Field Committee update.
You heard it all.
I think we, you can skip that.
Auditorium.
We are meeting tomorrow just to review some of the items that we will be ordering in to make sure that they're up to our specifications.
Wasn't that an easy initiation?
That was real
Wes?
easy there, yes.
See? Do we have any old business that we need to take care of?
No.
Any new business that we need to take care of? Cliff? All those in favor? Aye. All right, have a good night, everyone.
Have a great night. Thanks.